Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, it's part 4 of the series. You know, we've already done level 1s, level 2s, level 3s, and now we're on level 4s. I gotta be honest, this was the hardest one to whittle down by far. If you don't know, level 4s are the most common leveled monster in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! So it took the longest to go through, and just the same, there were more options as far as like underrated or huge potential monsters that weren't really being utilized just yet, being played. So today we're doing level 4s. I can only get it down to 10. I couldn't do 5 like the other ones, and I don't want to waste too much time, so let's just jump right into it. Oh, sorry, one more thing before we jump into it. Keep in mind, guys, this is all opinion, just like all these videos are, so feel free to disagree and also toss down below if you think I missed anything specific on here. Keep in mind, this is huge potential cards that aren't necessarily being utilized right now to their fullest potential. So let's start with number 1, Gozuki. So Gozuki is a really interesting zombie monster that just says, during the main phase, generically, you can just send a zombie from deck to grave. Then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish a zombie from your graveyard, except for itself, to special summon another zombie from your hand. So really, really nice card in zombies. I know a lot of people want to go with Zombie is probably generically better than this guy, but this is like a consistency option, but, and also just the fact that it generically sends as well. It's just really good, and should we ever find a zombie deck that turbos either a way to get him out or Uni in the same turn, then you might want to have him just because you could double up their effects, because they're both, you know, hard ones for turn effects as well. And he also unclogs like big zombies like Ballardrock out of your hand, which is nice as well. So keep in mind, he's also 1700, which is a decent stat line. We'll see that a lot here in the level 4s, because 1 through 3 you're almost always going to have low stats. But Gozuki, first starter off, just a really generic zombie support card, and we've seen zombies be good. Next up, we've got Iron Dragon Tiamat. So, long story short for this card, he has 2 effects. So, if there are 3 or more cards in the same column, right, including you and your opponent, including the extra monster zone, you can special summon him from your hand as a quick effect on either player's turn. And when he's special summoned, you destroy all other cards that are currently in the same column he is in. So, should your opponent be foolish enough to have a monster in the extra monster zone, a monster below it, and a spell or trap card under that, you drop this and you wipe all 3 of those off the board. Really strong, can be a blowout card at 2,000 attack as well, so that's pretty much as high as you're going to see for a level 4 monster. And yeah, I mean, like, assuming you're playing a deck that plays a decent amount of like spells and traps, and you can fill up those zones pretty quick, and all you need is your opponent to have 1 card somewhere, you can kind of work around that. Definitely makes this super doable, and it takes a specific meta to really want to play this card as well, but I think at some point we will see a spot for this card. I just don't think we've seen it yet. We haven't seen the right construction of meta decks that really fill up a lot of zones, as well as the right deck that wants to abuse this, that fills up a lot of its own zones as well. So hopefully we'll see it at some point, just we haven't seen it yet. So there we go. Oh, also, sorry, I didn't even mention this. You don't even have to special summon him to the same column that the 3 cards are in. You could special summon him wherever, and then he destroys all cards in that column. Forgot to neglect that. Obviously, the biggest ceiling is if you special summon it to the zone where all the cards are in. But you don't have to. You can special summon him anywhere and destroy all those zones. So don't forget that. Next up, I have a plant card. I know, another plant card. I know level 3's had 2 different plant monsters, but Cactus Bouncer is here. I believe because of Aromatherapy Jasmine and how good she is, Cactus Bouncer could see a place in our meta. I don't know about meta, but could see a place in a plant deck as being a really strong stun option. If you don't know, he's an 1800 beat stick level. We'll say that a lot today. Plant monster. He cannot be special summoned, which is fair. And then while another plant monster is on the field, except for himself, neither player can special summon monsters. So pretty much the idea I have for this is that Jasmine ends up like being able to search you any plant monster from deck. If you're able to get to Jasmine and get that search off without using your normal summon, you just search Cactus Bouncer and normal summon him. And unless your opponent is playing a deck that plays a ton of spells and traps, and that's how they function, if it's a heavy monster style deck, like a lot of decks are, they literally just lose. For the most part. Like, I mean, they don't necessarily lose, but unless they have an 1800 beat stick in their hand that they can normal summon and at least crash, or something bigger, but no real decks play anything bigger that's normal summonable, you just lose. You just lose to 1800 beat down, like a Jasmine and a Bouncer just beating you down. I really think the potential for that could be high if plants ever become relevant, because you just do that turn 1 and then win. Cool. So don't sleep on Cactus Bouncer. Next up, we have a really spicy card, Condemned Witch. I found this card a little while ago. It's really, really cool. Condemned Witch does 2 really strong effects. The first one is on normal summon, where you can add a forbidden quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. So we're talking about Forbidden Chalice being the best one, essentially just a monster negation. Forbidden Lance being one that makes a monster unaffected by spell and trap effects until the end of the turn. And then I think there's Forbidden... What's the other good one? Forbidden Dress, I think, is the other one. I don't think that one's as good. I don't remember exactly what it does. But the 2 ones are the main ones. The main thing is like the monster negate, that this going first is literally just normal summon, get a monster negate, and then the second effect, which has a quick effect during your opponent's main phase. You can tribute this card to special summon a level 4 fairy straight from the deck, except for herself. The reason this is so good is that it's just generically any level 4 fairy. So you get a free negate off her, and then you trade her in for something probably a little more useful during your opponent's turn. And even if you don't, she still has 2,000 defense, so, you know, obviously big booty, nice stat. Gotta love that. And I just think 2 really strong effects should the right deck come along. Like if Candina had ever been a card that could search on normal or special summon, I think this card literally would have been like a staple in Trickstars. But it was only normal summon, so it didn't really work with this too well. But just keep it in mind, any future fairy deck can definitely keep an eye on this card. It's just insane pluses and consistency. Next up, I have Fairy Tail Luna. I believe this is number 6 slot. Fairy Tail Luna is a spellcaster with 1850 attack, another great beat stick. When it's normal summoned, you can add any spellcaster monster with exactly 850 attack from your deck to your hand, so she can actually search another copy of herself. Or if you're looking at like Familiar Possessed or Charmers, if you want to call them, a deck, if they ever get support, maybe this card could be a support card for them. I don't know. I don't really know any other spellcasters with exactly 1850, but other than the other Fairy Tail cards, which are okay. I mean, Snow's banned, so like, it is what it is, but you know, just something to keep an eye on. But the other effect that's really good is once per turn, as a quick effect, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls as cost, and then your opponent can send 1 card with that monster's name from their deck or extra deck to the graveyard to negate this effect. But if they do not, you return both this card and that monster to the hand. It's really nice that you just literally return this, you bounce this to the hand as a strong disruption, a compulse effect, and then next turn you normal summon it to search again, plus again, which is really strong. It's just literally a +1 built into disruption. That's a beat stick as well. So I just think a really good generic card. You've seen it a little bit in stun on in certain decks in the OCG, and I've seen like 1 deck profile here. But it's a really cool card. Definitely don't sleep on it. Just keep an eye out for it. Next up is probably my favorite card on this whole list. I just didn't feel like it had the merit to be like up near the top. But Bro Hunter is a really cool card. He's a Thunder. He's the only one that's not a beat stick, I think, on this entire list. He only has 900 attack and 400 defense, but that's because his effect is so generically good. When he's normal summoned, you can add 1 level 4 light Thunder monster from your deck to your hand, except for himself. That's it. You know, Thunder Dragons are obviously here. I don't think they play any level 4s, which is fine. But you have to assume, for the most part, any Thunder deck is going to play light Thunder monsters. And all you need to do is have one, like it'd be an archetype where like a level 4 light monster that gets itself on the field is in that archetype. And Bro Hunter is like extremely abusable. I love his design. I love what he does. Just a generic searcher. Thunder is such an undersupported type in general. But I really like this, that we have that there are a couple generic cards for Thunders like this guy that should the right archetype come around, they will explode. So Bro Hunter, really, really cool. I love him. I love his design. He's so happy. He reminds me of like Gon from Hunter x Hunter a little bit. But moving on to the 1 Pendulum card. If you don't know, I'm not a huge Pendulum fan. The mechanic seems a little busted. And it's just not the way I like to play. Usually they all play like super aggro, like make a huge board or just break a huge board. Not my style of play. But Magical Abductor is still a really cool card. 1700, so almost beat stick status. In the scale, each time a spell card is activated, you place a counter on it. And then once per turn, you can remove 3 spell counters from this card to add any Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure adding any monster in your deck, because if you're playing Pendulums, you're probably only playing Pendulum monsters in your deck. searching any monster in your deck is pretty good, right? And that's easily doable, obviously, because we've already seen Endymion's playing Servant that easily gets 3 spell counters on it in a turn and then uses its effect. So clearly this is usable. And then as a monster, each time a spell counter is activated, you put it, or each time a spell card is activated, you put another counter on it, and then it gains 100 attack for each counter on it, making it even more of a beat stick. And once per turn, you can remove 3 spell counters from this card to add a level 1 spellcaster monster from your deck to your hand. Servant, I believe, is like level 3, so I don't think that works there. But should they ever have like a level, should there be like a good level 1 spellcaster for Pendulums, this would definitely be a really powerful card. Do not sleep on it. If like while Servant's a thing, and we already see decks that already like for Pendulums that abuse spell counters, this could easily be a card playable in that deck for consistency and power as well. So don't sleep on Magical Abductor. Next up, we have Silent Psychic Wizard. I believe this is number 3 on our list. He has a really cool card. I love his design, first and foremost. I think he looks so dope. 1900 attack, beat stick, status. Love it. When he's normal summoned, you can target a psychic monster in your graveyard and banish it. And then, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon that banished monster by this effect. So mostly just like a little combo piece. If there's ever like a psychic deck where like all you need to do is like get a psychic monster in grave before you normal summon him, you normal summon him, you banish, and this works with link summoning. You literally just link summon him off or link him away to summon something else, and then you special summon the monster banished by this effect. So just a really nice extender. I mean, overall, it's just a +1 essentially. And he's a beat stick built into it. And you know I love beat sticks. This is a hard beat stick. 1900, really solid. Plus he just looks dope, so I had to throw him on here. I really, really like him. And we need more psychic archetypes. It's such an underdeveloped archetype for sure. So I'd love to see more of that. Moving on to number 2, we have Lightray Grepher. There's like no secret why this card would be busted. It's like under the same vein as why Dark Grepher was busted and put to 1 on our list. 1700, almost beat 6 status. Also, he has 2 other effects where you can special summon him from your hand by discarding 1 level 5 or higher light monster. And then once per turn, you can discard a light monster as cost to banish 1 light monster straight from your deck. Obviously, this is a little bit specific. Dark Grepher did foolish stuff instead of banishing them, so that I think was generically a little better just for the game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Usually decks access the graveyard way easier than the banish zone. But still, you know, all it takes is 1 deck. I mean, seriously, all it took was a little bit of dark support to make Dark Grepher insane. All it takes is 1 deck that really likes being banished. I think in Metaphys, you could already say this is like really good. Should Metaphys get a little more support? Maybe he becomes a staple monster in there. He special summons himself, and he lets you banish your get your banish effects off of Metaphys monsters straight from the deck. Seems pretty good. Plus he's got a bull cut, which is hilarious. I love it. Moving on to number 1, guys. Don't sleep on Lightray Grepher, please. Number 1 is still the same. I made a video a long way back, doing the same thing, but this is my newer version, my newer developed version about level 4s. Reborn Tengu is like by far and away, to me, the level 4 with the most potential, and it's not even close. This is literally malicious, but arguably better. 1, it doesn't clog in your hand as easy because you can normal summon it. 2, whatever, it's better. It is a mandatory effect, which I don't think really changes much. I don't see why you wouldn't be activating it, but just says in the same turn, if this face-up card leaves the field, special summon a Reborn Tengu from your deck. This activates whether your opponent banishes him, whether your opponent shuffles him, whether your opponent sends him to graveyard, discards him to graveyard, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, not discard, because that'd be from hand. But as long as he goes from the field to anywhere else, you get another Reborn Tengu to the field, and that's not once per turn. So you link him away, you get a second one. You link that one away, you get a third one. It's 3 link materials built into 1, or whatever kind of material, whatever use you'd have in which he leaves the field. Really, really good. The only thing is he can't be used for XZ's monsters because he's not on the field when he's sent, so that doesn't work. But that's fine. And I just think, to me, that's insane. We see a little bit of wind support coming up. I don't know about, well, maybe not wind, but we see Fire Fist, which had that Beast Warrior, synergy with Tenki and Tensu, giving an additional normal zone for the Beast Warrior. That's pretty good with Tengu. Other stuff, I mean, like there's some wind support. We just got Wind, the Wind Charmer. We just got Hresvalg, whatever that new Link 3 that takes 3 winds and it can quick effect banish stuff from your opponent's graveyard, which is a legitimate disruption in 2019. So many decks use the graveyard, and I just think none of the other level 4s really held a candle to this card. They all have merit in their own, but nothing like this guy. I'm so surprised that this guy has not been abused yet in some way, shape, or form. Just in a deck that doesn't really care about like the normal summon that much, and you literally can just normal summon him and just use him as link material. As long as you have other cards that kind of span the board a little bit, you just use him and you're just getting 2 extra materials for free. I just think it's so good. It's like baiting out Ashes, because if they don't hit the first one, then you're going to get another one after the second one, and they might as well trade a 2 for 1 at that point. So you're baiting hand traps, you're linking off if they don't have them, and you're just setting up boards that are unbeatable. Appaloosa makes this card better as well. All that stuff, like, just keep it in mind. Bear it in mind. Keep all these monsters in mind. Reborn Tengu, Lightray Grepher, Silent Psychic Wizard, Magical Abductor, Bro Hunder, Fairy Tale Luna, Condemned Witch, Cactus Bouncer, Iron Dragon Diamatan, and Go Zuki. These are the top 10 level 4s I think have huge potential for the future. They just need the right stuff right around them. So guys, let me know your thoughts. As I said in the beginning of the video, if I missed anything, definitely throw it down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And yeah, if you want me to keep going, I have only done 1 through 4 so far. If you want me to keep going, definitely let me know, and we can try and go all the way up to level 12, because why the hell not? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't we go all the way through if you guys really like it? But I'm gonna end it off there, guys. That's pretty much it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to and haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, because I'm posting. I'm on it. All right, I'm posting all over the place. Get on the train, because the train's leaving the station. You don't want to get left behind. I'm rambling like a fool. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. I love you. Get out of here. Woo.